Okay, welcome back, everybody. It is Friday night. I'm super stoked. Glad everybody's here. If you're new here, I'm Sly. If you're returning, welcome back. Uh, so, yeah, I just saw the thing that said I was watching Peter, and it said, "Oh, you're supposed to be live right now," and I'm on the wrong camera. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna start off that way. Okay, that's cool. I'm good with all that. Obviously, I was testing things beforehand, and which I'm not sure I like going on right after Peter because I don't get to participate very much in his because I'm trying to get everything all set up and what have you. So I do have the air conditioner still on. If y'all can hear it, I'll turn it off. Okay. I do have crisp on, so you shouldn't be able to hear a lot of it, but it is hot down here. It's not as hot as it has been. Okay. I am by no way complaining because it's been in the mid 80s, which, we were up at closer to hitting that 100 mark. So I am in no way complaining. 85, 86, I'm perfectly happy with all that. But lots and lots and lots and lots of rain. And the computer did just blink out about 20 minutes ago. So we'll go as long as we can, right? As long as Mother Nature will keep at bay, we will keep it going. So let's find out who's come in the door, shall we? There's Roy. G'day, Sly. How you doing, Roy? Uh, I owe you a huge thanks. I believe you were the one that suggested the Timba backpacks, and I ordered one, and it came day before yesterday. What is today? Friday? Tuesday. I think it came Tuesday. Funny story. Um, so it was brand new in the bag that the manufacturer, sends it in. It was, had that little twisty tie thingy, and you could tell it had not been opened. Okay, but it did have a tear in the plastic, about yay big. Okay, and inside I found all of this. Right, an Apple Watch with, you guessed it, no watch in it, and an Apple watch band, which you guessed it, no watch band. So I called, I bought it from Adorama, and I called, and yes, I used Peter's link, and to let them know that someone in their shipping department probably is sporting a new Apple Watch. They could have cared less. That was the biggest waste of time. Um, so after being on the phone for about 20 minutes and waiting to talk to somebody that cared, I finally just hung up because nobody cared. So, uh, yeah, go figure. But I tried, you know. Lewis, buddy. Hey, Sly. How you doing, bud? Hope it's been a good week for you. Um, I saw you posted something about your friend that made me really quite sad. Um, as you know, my grandson is very near and dear to my heart, and he's about the same age, so that really pulls at my heartstrings, buddy. Jeff's here. Afternoon from Brisbane. Sly not stopping, just popped in to say hi, and we'll catch up later. Enjoy your weekend. You too, Jeff. Thanks for coming in, bud. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Lewis says, we are back, Sly. I hope so, Lewis. I hope you are back in the saddle, ready to make videos, ready to entertain us with some more singing and dancing and doing what Lewis does best, right? Roy says, Peter's talking has some inertia. Yes. Rabbit holes, you know, but it's all good. It's what makes Peter Peter, right? Lewis says, Sly, how do you manage gas, please? Lewis, I don't. I have a huge problem, okay? Because I'm not very good at tech, but I love it, okay? So I don't manage it well. son. But as you get older, okay, you've been paying on stuff for so long that I don't have a house payment. I don't have, I think I have like 3 payments left on my truck. I mean, as you get older, you've been paying on stuff for so long. Okay, the air conditioner just kicked off. So I don't have to scream at you if I was screaming before. I'm so sorry. I just realized I was probably talking way too loud. Um, but as you get older, you acquire more things. And so, now, yeah, I don't. I have a huge problem. A good friend of mine has a purse problem. Okay. Only her purses are $2 and $3, $4, $5, $6, $700 purses, which just blows my mind that somebody would spend that kind of money on a purse, right? But that's her thing, and she buys and sells, and so her husband doesn't seem to mind, and if that's what makes her happy, more power to her. So when I think, ooh, am I spending too much money on gear? Other people have I don't really have any vices. So, yeah, gear is kind of my thing. Bags especially. I love bags. In fact, I kind of got a new thing to show you tonight. But, and I want to revisit an old thing, right? That I have had for, I know, at least a year. And bought it, never really used it. I mean, I think I tested it once and then it went in a drawer, and I don't know why I didn't use it, but I recently have been watching videos where more people are using them, and so we'll go over that in just a minute. There's Charles. Hello, Sly. Hello, Charles. How you doing, bud? I have been too busy to watch very many YouTube videos lately, so I think you have put some up. I haven't had a chance. I'm so sorry. I need to prioritize and make more time for my friends. Lewis says, we back. And there's my other Lewis. Hey, everyone. So, Lewis, have you figured out the 360 yet? Because I have, like, this is the older version from what you have, but yeah, this is where it stays because I don't know how to, I know how to work it. I just don't know how to get the footage off of it. Well, I know how to get the footage off, but it's not the footage I want. So, help. Yeah. Roy says, I don't English. I can speak it occasionally. I don't suffer from gas. I'm a collector. There you go. I'm a collector of bags. All my lovely bags. Lewis says, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, well, I don't suffer from gas. I enjoy it. Bring it on, right? Charles says, I am so old that I have a museum in my house. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know when your birthday is, but we're about the same age. So you just collect stuff. And then when you pass on, then your kids get to deal with all of it, right? Yeah. Lewis says, oh, so you justified it with your passion. Got it, Sly. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I am very passionate about my gear. I really am. So, yeah, probably a year and a half ago, maybe, I bought this little thing, and I don't really remember why I bought it. I was kind of, it's when I got the deities, and I was trying to get the vlogging sound better, okay? And the deities do a fantastic job, don't get me wrong. I really like the way they sound. But I had ordered this little task cam, right? And I kind of actually forgot about it, to be honest with you. It's been sitting in a drawer. I recently rediscovered it, okay? Now, I carry action cameras with me, and I carry my M6 with me, and so one of the reasons I don't switch back and forth very often is because you have to unhook the mic and hook it back up to the new. It's a pain. Okay. With this, you don't. And the stigma with this is that you have to bring in another file and attach it to the video file or video files, right? But it's a recorder. So, yeah, it's its own separate file. And which this is another plus, because I did have a microphone die on me, right? And I do carry charging banks and stuff like that. But it was just, for me, it was like, okay, panic mode, because now I don't have a mic for an hour until it gets charged back up. Well, with this, it runs off of a AA battery, right? Not only can I carry extras, but you can stop at any store anywhere has AA batteries. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. So I did a test with it against this mic, right? And you wouldn't believe the sound quality. Now, there was a little difference in loudness, decibels, right? But that's easily fixed. And I'm back to wearing a little lav mic, right? Little bitty. Now, another plus is these lav mics are not expensive. And so I have a black and a white for whatever I'm wearing. But wow, that just was a real eye opener. And so, because I'm not real techie, okay? And always in the past, I was kind of scared to try to sync an audio file with a video file, because you don't want to hear me say something and then see my lips move, 3 seconds later. So, it was so easy. Like, I'm blown away. It was what I learned this week. So, yeah, that's going to be my new mic. And, I've been looking at the DJI and the Anchor. Somebody suggested the Anchor. And there was another one that came out. Oh, the Ceramonic just came out with a B2 something, which, has a little magnet thing that hooks on you. They're all, close to $300, $250, $300, which, okay, if it gives good audio, hey, I'm all for it, right? But this thing was about half that price, and it records, and that's why everybody likes the DJI and all. It has internal recording. That's what this does. And it doesn't matter which camera you have, the audio is just going, okay? So if I want to switch from my little Osmo Action to the M6, boom, boom, boom. I don't have to worry about plugging anything into the camera. I don't have to worry. The Osmo you have to have an adapter for, and I don't have to worry about that. Now, most of my cameras have pretty good onboard mics, but this will just even out the playing field, right? So it doesn't matter which camera I'm using, the audio is going to sound the same throughout. So I have noticed that even like the adapter for the Osmo, as you're walking along, it shakes loose, and you don't know that it's shooken loose. So you've gone from having actually pretty good audio with like the Deity to the onboard. And it's this little teeny tiny, of course the screen's not very big, but it's a teeny tiny microphone icon. And if you don't notice that it's not on, you don't realize that it's fallen out. So, because it just kind of slips down just a little bit. And so I have taken a rubber band and tied. So with the Tascam, I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to have anything plugged into the camera. You just record and go, and then it's just another file, right? So I'm super stoked about that. That's like my new, blew my mind this week, right? And I know all you techie people are probably going, oh my gosh, she's so far behind. Yes, I know. I'm aware. Ayantu, welcome back. I remember you from either last week or week before, or But welcome back. Remind us where you're from again, because I forget, and I'm old and I have, short timer's memory. Yeah. But I'm glad you're here. Uh, where'd he go? Where did he go? I just saw you, Roy, and then you went bloop. For many decades, I haven't sold my old gear much. I think I may have a problem. Yeah, well, now I am selling a lot. Um, I'm using that Facebook Marketplace, and it is working actually pretty well. I only sell local, so we meet at like a convenience store. That seems to be the norm for around here. And, I have sold everything from tires to cameras to you name it. And I get a better price than if I went through MPB or KEH or Adorama or B&H or somebody like that. So those places have a tendency, they're very, very convenient. And that's what, so they lowball you because they are convenient. So I just do Marketplace. I'm not in a hurry. And I've had pretty good luck with it. So I don't know if Australia has well, I'm sure they probably do. You have Facebook, so I'm sure you have Marketplace. But it's worked well for me. I just take a picture or 10 pictures, and you can even put a video on there. And yeah, I also buy, I buy some stuff off there too. So yeah, there's that. Lewis says, you're right, Sly. The audio is everything. I love that Tascam. Yes. And I don't know why. I had it in my head that it had to be plugged into the camera. I think we get in our thinking, we get put ourselves in a box, right? And the camera has to have a mic jack, and the camera has to. It doesn't, right? I don't think. Now I could be 100% wrong, because I got this camera, I set it up, and I haven't really looked at it very much, right? I don't think it has a mic jack. It might, but I don't ever plan on taking it out and about, so I really didn't really care if it had a mic jack. I did care that it had clean HDMI out, and it does. So I don't have to use that Canon utility or whatever it's called, which that kind of blew my mind. So, and I think it lagged a little bit using the utility, which going straight in the computer, I don't think you get the lag. So, yeah, this was a much better option for me, and I'm loving it, but I didn't really care if it had a mic jack or not. So, that opens a whole new world for people who have cameras without mic jacks, right? Just use your Tascam and you got great audio. So Charles says, when I die, I'm taking my Fujis with me. I need to take pictures of heaven. Yes. So, it's supposed to be this magical place. And it was funny because I was thinking about that, and for the fishermen, there's probably no small fish. They're probably all keepers. I don't know. I don't know why that went through my head when Peter was talking about it. But I'm thinking, yeah, there's probably no small fish. They're probably just all trophy fish, right? I don't know. But that's a good thought, Charles. Good thought. Roy's talking to Charles, says, if I can't take at least one camera with me, then I'm not going, right? Now, I'll sneak my little action camera in with me. Nobody will ever know. That is very convenient, Sly, right? Yeah, I'm all about streamlining and getting this as mobile and easy. Okay, easy is the big thing, because I'm chasing a 3-year-old. Okay, so you don't really have time to sit and change the lens and set the. So I did order an ND filter because I do feel like the dinosaur world, when we were out in the sun, I do feel like I could have benefited. And I have an ND filter, but it's for the other lens. And there was no time. I mean, he hit that trail and took off running, and you either follow or get left behind, right? So, um, I am looking at that little the 360 Go 3 that has the little thing you can put it in that has the flip up screen. That's probably going to be my next purchase, because I'm thinking it's got incredible image stabilization, and I'm thinking that and a 3-year-old will go well together, right? Now, if you're out walking around a park and you're by yourself, you've got all the time in the world to switch lenses, sit down, take a break. But life with a 3-year-old is not like that. So, and he seems to be taking up more of my time, my off time. So, but I digress. Okay. Lewis says, how do you sync audio with video slide? I need a tutorial. So the easiest way, Lewis, right there, you just clap. And that gives you a spike, right? And so you just link up the spikes on the audio line and the video line. You just link up the spikes, and everything else follows suit. So it is so simple. It's not even funny. Okay. I don't know if you work with Final Cut Pro or if you're in OBS or what platform you use to edit videos, but yeah, it's literally drag and drop. Once you upload the files, you just drag them into the timeline and just, you've got that spike, and so you just link everything up and go forward. Super, super simple. Lewis says, those audio malfunctions are so frustrating. You're right, Sly. Well, every camera is different, okay? If I was always using the same camera, that would be one thing, but, it's nothing for me to pull out the action camera and turn it on and just start recording. Well, with the Deity and the Hollyland and, some of the other wireless mics that I have, you have to move the receiver and plug it into the camera, put it, move, you don't have to move the transmitter, but it's just, it's a thing. It's kind of time consuming. And so I'm thinking with the Tascam, we'll try it out tomorrow. If it doesn't just absolutely pour down rain. It's been raining here for like 4 days, which I'm okay with because it's lowered the temperature. So yeah, rain is not a bad thing. But if it's not raining profusely, I'm going to try to get out and make a video tomorrow. And we'll see. We'll see how it works. But I'm super excited because I think it's going to make everything simplified, right? We'll see. I could be completely off the wall. Roy's talking to Lewis, says, I'm useless at videos, so I just get the subject to clap their hand at the start. Yes. Video is so easy, Roy. But yeah, that gives you a spike, gives you a starting point, and it's so easy. Roy says, yes, we have Facebook. Okay. Yeah, I kind of thought you might. I think it's I think it's worldwide. But, and there's Peter. He must have been in the little boy's room and had something to eat. And he says, hello, hello, hello. I think he tries to eat before his live stream, but maybe he had a snack. Hello, Peter. And Jeff says, we sure do have Marketplace. I use it all the time to buy and sell. Yes. And it's, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of scammers, but there's also a lot of really good people on there. And I think you can kind of tell, if you talk to somebody very long, you can kind of tell if they're a scammer or if they actually have the product in hand. Someone was telling me to timestamp your pictures because the scammers will copy your pictures and try to sell that item as theirs. And I hadn't even thought about that. Hadn't even realized that. Roy says to Peter, hello to the three of you too. There's my Uncle G. Happy Friday, everyone. We were supposed to have gone kayaking tomorrow, but it is, number one, he ended up having to work, and number two, it's going to rain all day. So, not the best weekend for that. Uncle G, too late. It's Saturday. No, he's still got an hour and 5 minutes, Roy. It's 10:55, so he's still got an hour and 5 minutes before it's officially Saturday. And Peter's smiling. Roy, you genius. Yes, Lewis saying, Roy, you genius. And Peter's talking to Grant, saying, hi, Grant. Hope you win at your vids tonight. Games. His games. Yes. Jeff says, I will take all my canning gear to heaven. Right? Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jeff. It took me a minute. In Oklahoma, that means kind of a long time to figure out what camera was best for me. And I kind of went against what everybody else was doing. I seem to do that a lot. But when you find something that works for you, you just, you know it, right? And these little M6 Mark IIs are just, that's my camera, okay? So I know they are getting harder to come by. You can still get lenses pretty readily. I just don't know which lens I will get next. Most of the stuff I do, I want to be able to vlog with, okay? But I did notice when we were at Dinosaur World, I would have loved to have been able to zoom in on that T-Rex. But that would have meant changing the lens, and as I said, 3-year-old didn't have time. So, yeah. So, it's funny because life is a journey, and as you go through this, you learn more and more about what you need, and like to get the fish better, an ND filter would have been a game changer, right? And a zoom would have been much appreciated for the T-Rex in the woods. So I'm learning. I'll get there eventually. Peter says, "Yes, you are, Roy. I'm dragging you with me." I think he means going to heaven. He's dragging you with him. Roy says a polarizer is more useful than an ND filter. Okay. From my fishing days, we used to wear polarized sunglasses on the water, and I'm up and down about polarizing. There were pluses and minuses to it. It would kind of depend on what you were looking at, and if you tried to look at like your cell phone or anything, forget it, right? But as far as looking down into the water, yes, I think it helped. The lakes around here are not that clear, so you really can't see, that far down. But if you go to Arkansas or Missouri, I guess, some of those lakes are stupid clear, right? Beaver Lake is in Arkansas and Table Rock is in Missouri, I think. And those lakes are so clear. I had a Ranger bass boat, and me and a buddy were fishing, and he was heavy, okay? And I went to put a fish in the live well, and the live well looked empty. Well, that's an impossibility. If the boat's in the water, the live well is full of water, okay? And I know this. Intellectually, I know this. But I opened that, and it was empty, okay? So I'm like, how? How is this possible? Well, when he stood up, the boat rocked, and the water sloshed, because there was water in it, but it was so clear, it looked empty, okay? We don't have those here. You open your live well, and it's got green water in it. So, yeah, I'm on the fence about that one. You're going to have to convince me why. Yeah, work on that. Lewis says, I appreciate your honesty, Sly. Thank you. It's the only way I know to be, Lewis. Peter says, doesn't a polarizer actually act like an ND filter in a way? You know, okay, so I think an ND filter, and I could be 100% wrong about this, but this is my take on it. An ND filter is like putting on a pair of regular sunglasses. A polarizer is like putting on a pair of polarized sunglasses. Okay, so they kind of achieve the same thing, but I kind of think the ND filter smooths things out a little bit, and the polarizer doesn't. I'm thinking. I don't know. I could be wrong. Roy says, switching lenses is too slow. Two bodies works better for me. Yes, 100% right. I agree with that statement 100%. However, my second camera is right here. So, what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of taking this camera and making it the number one camera so that when I do go, I can take this camera off the tripod, and then if I am late getting back, at least I will have this camera already set up, ready to go, because honestly, I can do a live stream with one camera. I don't have to have multiple cameras. So that's kind of my thought process, is moving this camera to the number one position and then moving this camera so if I need to take it, I can. But hasn't happened yet, but I mean, that would not be that hard of a thing. Plus, it would open up a spot on my computer, right? Or I could just get two of these. Yeah, that would work too, right? Let's see. Can you believe that Crisp... Oh, really? No kidding. It took out the entire clap. Wow. So y'all are not hearing the air conditioner cycle on and off, right? The air conditioner that is like 6 feet away from me. That's I was hoping it would cancel most of that. I didn't realize it would take out the clap. Wow. That's hilarious. Okay, so Lewis, I clapped really loudly. And that gives you a spike. I completely forgot about the crisp. Thanks, Peter. Roy is the master. I'm telling you, Roy has got more information. He's old like me and Peter, and so most of us, Lewis, you're not, but most of us in here are of the AARP club, and he has got more information because he's been doing this a really long time. So in comparison, Peter's been doing this a really long time, right? In comparison, I'm a really newbie. Okay, so I may be as old as dirt, but I'm kind of new to this whole camera thing in retrospect to Peter and Roy and people that have been doing it their whole lives. So yeah. Roy is talking to Lewis and says, master of very few things. Jack of all trades. Yeah. Roy says, I just need to work out how to get wildlife to clap their hands. Right? How much easier would it be if an elk walked by and did that bellow thing that they do, and then would just stand still and be like, okay, now take my picture. Yeah, not going to happen. Charles says, I like OfferUp better than Marketplace. So OfferUp is a Florida thing. It's not like just Florida, but in Oklahoma, nobody uses OfferUp. You find very, very few things. Lewis in Hollywood, Mr. Camera Junkie, likes OfferUp a lot. And so I looked into it, and there was like nothing in Oklahoma, right? But I think, if I remember right, there was some stuff like on the West Coast, but it was mostly East Coast stuff. So it's they may be worldwide, but they're not in Oklahoma too much. So I prefer meeting the person and buying or selling and handing them the money, or they handing me the money right then instead of shipping. I have shipped a few things and everything's gone really smoothly, but I don't know. It's just a personal preference. I just would prefer to meet them. But yeah, offer up here in Oklahoma, it just doesn't work so good. Jeff says, I use Premiere Pro. It will synchronize all audio, be it one camera or 5 cameras. So simple. I just started into some video editing, and in Premiere Pro it seems to work well. Okay, so is Premiere Pro Adobe? I'm thinking maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I'm using Final Cut Pro, which they updated as they're want to do. Apple has a mind of its own, and it updated. And when it did, it reset all the settings to like 360p. So I uploaded and I didn't know that. So I uploaded the dinosaur video and I waited a couple of days, and it never went up to 1080, which I shoot everything in 1080. So I thought maybe I had hit the wrong, because on the camera, that's one thing I don't like about these little smaller cameras, is they ask you all the time, how do you want to shoot this, right? And there is an option for low resolution, and I always hit the higher resolution, and I thought, well, maybe I screwed up. Maybe I hit the low resolution. So I went back and looked at the file. No, it was in 1080. And so I went back and I looked at the Final Cut Pro, like the base menu thing, and sure enough, when it updated, it had reset several things. So that was kind of so I had to re-render the video in 1080 and then re-upload it. So yeah, it's kind of a hassle, but it worked. Roy says you can always adapt mirrorless lenses. Okay. I have been told that the M lenses do not fit anything else. That there is no adapter to go from the M mount to anything else. You can go from the EF and EFS mount to the M mount with an adapter. In fact, that's what I've got on this one. This is actually an EFS 24mm lens, and it has an adapter, but it just sits there. So it doesn't matter. The adapter is probably like that thick, so it adds that to the lens. So it doesn't matter because it's just sitting on a tripod. I do have a 10-18, but honestly, I think the 24 is a lot clearer than the 10-18. I did try it at one point, and I think Peter was helping me with that, and neither one of us liked the results. So this camera here actually has a native EFM 22 millimeter on it. So I don't know if you can go backwards. Maybe. Apart from UV protection, the only other filter I use is a polarizer. Okay. Well, all of my lenses have a UV filter on them, except the 11-22. And that was the last lens I bought. And apparently after I bought that, I switched gears and got into something else, so I never got it. So I do have one on order. It should be here Sunday, I think. Because it just dawned on me today that it doesn't have any kind of a filter on it, which I'm out and about a lot, so I need something that'll keep things from getting scratched up and what have you. Let's see. Lewis says, I bought ND filters and polarizers, but I don't have much experience with using them, Sly. Yeah, every lens that I have, well, now that I say that, the 24 doesn't have one on it. The 22 does, and all of my other lenses back there have them. But the 11-22 was I think the last lens I bought, and for some reason I don't know. But every other one have does have, because I find that I would rather scratch up. Uh, for me, it's more like a lens protector, right? I carry one on my phone. I want one on my camera lens, So um, I don't really think of them as anything else. Now, Lewis was telling me, because my two old lenses are getting kind of what I call soft. They're not as sharp as the new lenses. And he said if I would set them out in the sun, that would clear up. So I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to. Roy says a pair of polarizers makes an ND filter. Really? So if you took two polarizers, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Roy, you need to have a live stream, buddy. You are just such a wealth of knowledge. Roy's talking to Lewis, says a polarizer deepens all the colors. Love them. Okay. Well, I'm going to look into that tonight. Yeah, because yeah, I think Dinosaur World would have been a lot better had it had a filter on that lens. Lewis says, Roy, when do you use a polarizer and when do you skip it? And Lewis says, ND equals exposure, polarizer equals wavelengths. Okay. Yes, I believe that, because when you use a polarizer on something electronic, you can't see it. So, yes, that makes sense. Roy says to Lewis, I avoid a polarized sky with ultra-wide lenses. Otherwise, if I can afford to lose two stops, then I like a polarizer. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Peter says, do you know who uses the M6 II as a second camera? He uses the Canon R5 as one and the M6 II as another. He is a YouTuber named Christopher Frost. So there's a lot of YouTubers that are using the M6. That Chervlenka, I cannot say her name, but now she has moved forward into the R system, but for a long time she was an M6 Mark II user. Mark Wymels, I think is how you say his name. Same thing. He has moved forward into the R system, but he was an M6 Mark II user for a long time. So yeah, there's a lot of them. They're slowly getting into the R system, but I don't see a need to for me right now, because the M6 is just it's cooking with gas. So if it's working, now if I broke one, then yeah, I'd have to look into another camera. I went to Best Buy and I looked at the R cameras. They're all bigger. None of them just fit just right. And the little M6 Mark II, I kind of have small hands, and it just fits me just right. So yeah, I hope they don't break. Okay, I hope they last 20 years. We'll see. We'll see. Peter says, yes, Roy is old. Yes, pot, kettle, black. Oh, okay. Roy says, I just know stuff because I'm old and doing it for so long. Became a product photographer in 1978. Wow, yeah. So, yeah, you guys have this amazing amount of wealth of knowledge, and we're just scratching the surface, right? So I know, Roy, that you have to be sitting there just laughing your head off at, that I'm so enamored now with the Tascam, because you've probably discovered that like 20 years ago. That's okay. I'm a little behind the time. Always have been. Jeff says, Lewis, ND filters are great when you want to shoot at a lower shutter to capture waterfalls to get silky smooth water, or when you want to capture the clouds moving slowly. Looks great in the golden hour. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with both the ND and the polarizer. Now ND filter I got is variable. Is there? I wouldn't think there'd be a variable polarizer. I would think it would just be a polarizer at one. I would think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Lewis says mostly shooting video than photos these days. Roy, thank you. I think, Lewis, that the ND filter, that's how it was explained to me. It's like putting a pair of sunglasses on your camera. And because I shoot a lot outside in the bright sunlight, where it was 100 degrees, it would have made everything look better, right? Like the difference between being out in the sun and squinting your eyes and having to put shades on. Peter says, Roy really makes me laugh. I know, I love Roy, we love you to pieces. Charles says, two different things. An ND filter is like putting sunglasses on your camera. A polarizer changes the value of light versus glare. For example, when taking pictures of fish inside water. Yeah, so even though with sunglasses, it does reduce the glare on the water and you can see it a little better, the polarizer actually kind of somehow like cuts through the water so you can actually see the fish better. So, but I was just amazed. There must have been like 200 koi in that pond, right? And of course, there's no fishing, but and you wouldn't really want to catch a koi anyway. But it was amazing to me. I found out after the fact that you can buy food to feed them, and so they think as soon as they see a human, ooh, it's feeding time, and so that's why there was like a frenzy of these fish, even though we didn't have anything to feed them. Roy says a variable ND filter is just a pair of polarizers. Yeah, that's what Lewis said, and that's so cool. Roy says polarizers like sunglasses remove glare and deepen colors. I'm definitely going to be getting one, all right? And I'm going to get one for the 11 to 22. Why they can't make lenses all the same size, I don't know, but they don't. So you have to have one for each lens. Premiere Pro is Adobe. Yeah, okay. I thought it might be. I have not ever really worked with Adobe, so can you use Adobe on Mac? I know Adobe was for the PC, so maybe it goes back and maybe it does both. I don't know. Roy says, I hate it when these tiny cameras fall through your fingers. Well, Roy, you probably have a lot bigger hands than I do, because I got the ADD out today to show I'm selling a microphone, and I wanted to show the guy how big the microphone was on the ADD versus the M6, and the ADD is so big. It's like, yeah, and the M6 just fits my hand just like it's supposed to be there. So, plus there's a huge weight difference too. Peter says, I forgot to hit the thumbs up. Doing it now. Everyone join me. Hit that thumbs up button. It's funny. I suppose if I go up here, oh, there's 5. I don't know how many. Oh, there's 7 people. So two of you have not hit that like button. Charles says, there are plenty of adapters for M mount going both ways. Oh, okay. See, I did not know that. So, so you're telling me I can just buy all the M lenses I want to, and then if I do change systems, I can go to another system, like an R? Because I'll probably stay Canon. I know some people that have switched over from Canon to Sony. For me, I have one Sony camera, and the menu is very confusing for me. I'm used to the Canon menus. I know the Canon menus. That's just what I like. The Sony is a little confusing. Roy says, one of my favorite things about MILC is adapting old lenses. MILC. Milk spelled wrong. Is adapting old lenses. Okay, I'm not sure what MILC is. Yeah, you'll have to. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Thank you, Roy. You knew it was coming, right? Mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. Okay, okay, that's cool. Um, so yeah, I have. I can adapt. I have the adapter to go from the EFS and EF lenses to the M cameras, but I don't have an adapter that goes the other way around. So, like like this is the EFM 22. I don't have any way to put this on the 80D. So I didn't know they made adapters to go the other way. Jeff says circular polarizers are great to cut out glare or, for example, the bubbles in a riverbed. Okay. If cut through the water, both the ND and polarized filters are used for different kinds of subjects. Okay. Yeah, the ones I have seen as far as water goes, the ND filter makes the water very smooth. Almost like it's standing still, maybe. Not standing still, but yeah, standing still kind of. Where it doesn't have the like the choppy, when it's real choppy, it doesn't have the peaks and stuff on it. So it just makes the water look really smooth. I don't know what it would do to a 3-year-old. Does it like show how fast they're running and show streaks behind them? Because 3-year-olds are like sonic fast, right? Yeah, especially especially compared to an old woman. Yeah, sonic fast, right? Roy says, I had a website for years, too much work for someone as lazy as me. Um, yeah, so I'm working on that. Okay. Um, this year, I think towards hopefully by the end of this year, I will be up and running. I'm thinking. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm going to start making this full time. So I'm learning all I can. Roy says a variable ND does both. Okay, well, that's what I've got, but I just had the wrong lens on, and so I couldn't use it. Jeff says sly UV filters were needed in the film days. That's when I started using them. Today we do not need UV filters. Upsellable. For me personally, I see no sense in spending thousands of dollars on a lens to throw on a cheap UV glass. Okay, that's actually where I started using them, and uh, I don't I don't mean to be hard on my equipment, but I like things to stay looking like new. Okay, so I'm very picky about how I put things in my camera bag. I always keep a lens cap on. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just always put a UV filter on as that extra protection, kind of like I have on my cell phone. I have a Gorilla Glass thing on the front. And honestly, I've had phones for 4 or 5 years, and when I turn them back in, they look brand new. People are amazed that the phone is as old as it is. So I do like keeping things kind of in pretty good shape, and so I've always used UV filters, and all my lenses have them except that one I used in Dinosaur World didn't have anything on it. Go figure. Roy says, I like a bigger camera, more room for buttons. So I understand that, okay, because the M6, if I had one complaint, which I don't, but if I did, it would be that the buttons are so close together on the back side that you could, I have never have done it, but you could, if you had bigger hands, inadvertently hit the wrong button, because you're talking about a space of like that. So crash. Compared to new camera bag, love it. Thank you, Roy. Um, so I don't know if you can see this. We'll try. Okay, turn around this way. Maybe you can see it. So if you had very big hands, you've got a very relatively small space. Now, my thumb just goes up there and it does not hit that record button. But there's quite a few buttons back here. So if you had very big hands, I could see where you would be hitting. I have no idea what that red light is. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Um, you would be hitting something, right? So, yes, this is definitely not the camera for somebody with large hands, right? But in my hand, it just fits perfect, and I can reach. All the buttons are just right there where I can reach them. So that's why I say, for me, this is actually the perfect camera. It does everything I want it to do, plus probably some stuff I don't even know it'll do. But I have access to everything. So, which really makes it a waste of money. Not money, a waste of, I don't know, productivity to have one sitting on a tripod when I could get a cheaper camera and achieve the same exact thing. So I'm seriously thinking about getting another one of these to replace this one so that I can have two of these in my bag with two different lenses on them, right? So I can just switch it out really quickly. Roy says, and time gives us a big pile of camera stuff. Yes, it does. So I think, including my action cameras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have 8. I think I have 8 or 9 cameras. And back in the film days, I had 1. So I don't know why I feel the need to have so many, because you don't really need that many. Peter says, do you know the M6 has my favorite mode, FV, on it? Wow. Yes, I do know that, right? I think when you got the R6, maybe, is when you discovered the FV mode. And yes, the M6 Mark II has that. So I don't know that the Mark I does, but the Mark II does. The Mark I also doesn't have clean HDMI out. I actually bought one, and I could not use it for what I wanted to use it for, so I had to return it. But while I had it, I investigated, and honestly, for a video camera, if that's all you were using it for, it's not a bad camera, and it looks almost identical to the Mark II. There's very, very subtle differences, but the FV is one of them. The Mark I did not have the FV. Roy says all polarizers are variable as you turn them. Oh, so yes, that was something I had noticed. So now this is going, man, when you said that, this is going back like years and years ago. I think I had a polarizer for the film camera, and depending on how you turned it, you would get a different look, right? With the ND filter, it doesn't do that. It just gets from lighter to darker. So I I I think if you're trying to be a pirate, it's AYE. I Captain. Roy says you can also double polarize, one over the light and one on the lens. Oh, okay. But if you were shooting a light, unless it was dark, um, I don't know. Marcus Pix does a lot of stuff outside, and he uses lights, and yeah, he's a master at it. I don't think I've ever seen him put a polarizer over a light though. So that would be something interesting. Lenses are very hard glass. I never to date have ever scratched a lens. Also, if you drop a lens, the chances are the lens itself will be damaged. I want the best possible sharpness I can get, but that's me. Yes. So I agree with that to a point. I've never dropped a lens, so there's that. But you know, when you're taking them in and out of the bag, and I don't know, it just seems to me that dust and what, and I do have a rocket blower. I could blow them. But yeah, I'm just not that. I don't shoot 4K. I'm just 1080 is fine with me. Very very few pictures would I say have. I mean, I've taken some good pictures, but I don't really know that I've taken that many bad ones. Like like you take a picture and every once in a while you just go, wow, that is like win the state fair type picture. Okay, most of the pictures that you take are going to be like, that's a really good picture. Not win the state fair, but that's a really good picture. Very few pictures are like, okay, that's crap. Now, I did forget to turn the lens on. And so I did take some that were like, I showed one to my daughter and she's like, I can't even tell that's my kid. I'm like, yeah, I know. That was completely user error. Completely, 100%. Lewis says, I got even more confused. Well, I'm going to play with, I have an ND filter coming for the 11-22. I am going to get a polarizer just so I can play with both of them and kind of see which one I prefer, which one suits how I shoot and what I shoot better. I don't typically shoot that much water. I don't shoot hardly any water with the M6 because it's not waterproof. And I do have a, man, I started to say it was a polarizing filter. I don't honestly know. I think it is a polarizing filter for the action cameras. I'm going to have to look. It may be an ND filter. I don't know. It's just a little thing that fits over the lens. I honestly don't know which one it is. So I will have to get it out and take a look at it and see. Roy says, back in the 70s, nearly all my lenses had 52 millimeter threads. Thank you. Why is that not a thing? Now, I could see jumping from like Sony to Canon to Fuji. I could see them each having their own size. Okay, I get that. Totally get that. But in staying with like let's say all Canon lenses, why are there so many different sizes? It just makes you buy more crap, right? It's stupid. Sony should all be 55s. Canon should all be, I don't know what these are, 52s. Why so many different sizes? So the 11-22 is a 55. The 15-45 is a 40, I want to say a 43. I think this one, not really sure what size that is. There's too much light glaring. This is a 52. I mean, they're just all over the board. Somebody screwed up on that, obviously. Or maybe they just want you to buy more stuff. I have a lot of 52 millimeter as well as a 67 and 37 filters. So you can take a 67 and get a step down ring and it'll fit all these smaller ones. But then again, you have to have the step down ring to step it down to whatever. And then it starts, every step down ring adds a little bit of width to it. So yeah, I would just rather have a separate one for each different lens and not use the step down rings. I do have them and I don't remember now why. I bought some step down rings for something, but I don't remember what they're even for. Roy says, I wouldn't buy new M-mount lenses. Newer lenses are much improved. So, from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I usually am, the R lenses are not adaptable to the M-mount. From what I understand, something about there's not enough space between the sensor and the lens, like the M-mount sensor sits farther back and the R lens sits further up, and so yeah, that's the way it was explained to me. Um, let's see, I missed one. Roy says, me too, got dozens of old filters that I no longer use. And Jess says, Sly ND filters come in different stops. You can get a 4-stop, 6-stop, 10-stop, and 15-stop. I use Lee filter system. There are pros and cons for using filters. So I think, and I don't even, it's not on this lens. Trying to think where it is. It's probably in the bag. I think mine goes from 200 to 2,000. I think. I could be 100% wrong about that, but I think that's what it goes to. It goes from really light to really dark, and it has a bunch of stops along the way. So I don't know if it's a. I would guess maybe a 10-stop. I don't think it's a 15-stop. Probably 10. Roy says, I find it easier to clean, scrub, a UV filter than wear out an expensive coating on a lens, then replace the filter every 6 months or so. I don't think I have ever replaced my filters. I take that back. Yes, I have. The 2 old lenses that I have that are like 30 years old, I did replace the UV filters because they were 30 years old. And so I'm thinking maybe that's why they're kind of looking soft. It didn't help. It wasn't the filters. So there's that. Lewis says, thank you for allowing me to be a student and ask questions. Lewis, man, I'm right there with you. I may be old as dirt, but I am still learning something every single day, right? Just like this microphone thing, man. That was like, these have been out forever, right? Everybody has them. And it just dawned on me, why am I not using that? I watched a video and a guy was comparing the Tascam to the DJI, which I was seriously considering buying, and the Tascam actually sounded better. So I'm thinking, because I think the DJI sounds really good. So I'm thinking that, duh, this solves all your problems, right? I did get another thing this week. Since summer is upon us, for everyone in the States, which I guess you could use it too in the cold. Probably wouldn't need to though. So, and this is a woman's problem. It really doesn't pertain to you guys because you guys, your trousers and your pants all have pretty deep pockets, right? Well, women's jeans don't. And in the summer, I wear a lot of athletic shorts, which have either no pockets or the pockets are like, they're so big that you put stuff in it and it pulls your britches down, right? So not a good problem to have. So this week, right, kind of excited about this. I found one of these. Okay. So I had gotten some fanny packs thinking that's what I wanted, but it wasn't. Okay. I don't carry that much stuff, but I do carry some stuff. And look how thin this thing is. It's like, and it has everything in it, right? It's got my phone, it's got my driver's license, credit cards, money, car keys, everything. I like to carry, I know I'm kind of strange, but I like to carry a little bitty knife and a flashlight. And when I say little bitty, I mean little bitty. Okay. It's just enough to cut a box, tape or you know, the blade is little bitty, right? It's not really enough to cut somebody, but I suppose in a pinch it would. But and then my little bitty flashlight, right? And oh, lip gloss. You always have to have some lip gloss. But I was just amazed. I didn't know they made these. Again, Lewis, I'm learning. There's so much stuff out there I don't know about. But you wear this like under your shirt, right? It's got this elastic band thing, boing, boing, boing. And you just put it on, put your shirt over it, and it disappears. But yet you've got everything with you. I'm enamored with the whole idea of this thing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you see me out and about and I look like I've gained a few pounds, it's not me. It's the full bag. Roy says, I see a little finger escaping under the camera. A little finger escaping under the camera. Okay. You might have to elaborate on that for just a little bit. Roy says, I only have 8 cameras, but I have at least 5 in front of the 8. Okay. Wouldn't that mean you have at least 13 cameras? Jeff says, Sly, I use lens hoods on the lenses most of the time. So this helps in protecting the front lens. All of my lenses still look brand new. This is an upselling by the retailers. Yes. I have a lens hood, again, for one of the lenses, but I do not remember which one it's for. Nor do I remember exactly where it is. So there's that. It seems like I did try it on probably the 15 to 45 and it did not fit. And like I said, I cannot remember. I bought it when I was shooting with the 80-90D. So I'm sure it fits one of the EFS lenses. I just don't remember which one. But I only have the one. So have not figured out how to attach it to a different size. So there again, all the different size lenses. Roy says, and lens hoods also reduce flare. Yes, somebody had pointed out, I did a comparison video between 2 lenses, and now I do not remember which ones they were. I think it was the 10 to 18 and the 11 to 22. And someone had suggested, because there was a lot of flaring going on with the 10 to 18, that a lens hood would have really helped that lens. That lens is a huge lens. It's like, it's not so huge lengthwise, but big around. It's compared to the rest of the compared to the M lenses, it's a really big lens. Jeff says, I notice when I do video with harsh light, a 4-stop ND helps cut down the light behind the subject. Okay. I usually don't use light because it's always out in the bright sunshine. I do try to get it where it's not like cloudy days. I will try to go out on a cloudy day where there's not as many shadows, but in Oklahoma it's hit and miss. And the way my schedule has been, I got to take what I get, you know. So but yeah, that would help. Charles says, correction, all polarizers are not variable. Polarizers for matte boxes are fixed. Okay. I'm not 100% sure what a matte box is, Charles. So yeah, Charles is another one who has been doing this for years, right? And he has so much knowledge, and I'm just kind of scratching the surface. So yeah, I'm probably more with Lewis. Sly, you're the greatest. Thank you for everything you do. Well, thank you, Lewis. I think you're pretty great too, buddy. So, and I really would like to see you start making videos again. right? Because hugely enjoyed them. They were really a lot of fun. Uh, Roy says if you clean your lens often enough, then a UV protective filter will take the wear instead of the lens. I've seen many lenses with no AR coating left, anti-reflective. Um, yeah, I could kind of see that. Um, I have a little rocket blower thing to blow out any debris, but I'm almost and I have lots of lens cleaning cloths, but I'm when you clean glass, sometimes you get a circular pattern, and I'm kind of scared of that. So, yeah. Roy says a slim filter for wide and ultra wide lenses. Okay. Um, yeah, all my filters are, I mean, you don't even notice they're there. They're really slim. And I'm trying to think what brand. I cannot think for the life of me. They're all the same brand, but I can't think what it is. Um, I don't know. Roy says most Nikon filters are 82 millimeter now. They were 77. Well, thank you, Nikon. Right? They should all be like the same. It just, I don't know. That's one of my, like, I could go on a rant, but I'm not going to. Um, Jess says, give you an example. I dropped my camera from the tripod and it hit the ground. I damaged the outside, but the glass was not damaged. It cost $250 to fix. So for me, only no UV. Okay. Yeah, I would, that would, I don't know, that would bother me if I dropped a camera. So I'm very, very hesitant to set them on a tripod outside because, like, one of the things they do with these microphones is they test the distance. Okay, how far away will this thing work? I'm not going to get that far away from my camera with it sitting on a tripod. Now, I may have it sitting on a table. Like a lot of our parks around here have those concrete picnic tables, and I may set one there if there's nobody else in the park because people do steal things. Um, set it on the table and then get back a ways. But I'm not going to be back 100 feet, right? So, yeah, that those tests to see how far a microphone will reach are kind of pointless for me because I'm not going to be that far away from my camera. And I don't know if I were to set it. I know they're fully adjustable tripods and they're, yeah, I don't know. It just would worry me too much because the wind could pick up and knock it over. All my tripods have that little hook for stability that you put like your bag or something on it to hold it firmly to the ground. But yeah, it would be my luck that, that's when we would get like a 90-mile-an-hour gust and it would just, yeah, knock it over. And I don't know. I'm a little, yeah, I'm a little OCD about that. Roy says the problem with step down rings is the lens hood. Yeah. Well, there you go. There you have it. Uh, Peter says Louis Vega said it right. The polarizer filter actually changes the wavelength of the light. The N filter doesn't. If it's a variable ND filter, change the light wavelength, then it would be a polarizer. Okay. So yeah, basically the ND filters that I have are just varying degrees of sunglasses for my camera. They don't polarize anything. Now, I guess I don't know if you could screw two of them together or not. I don't know. I've never tried. Uh, Charles says polarizer and use step down rings. Well, yeah. So, well, I guess it wouldn't matter. So I know these two lenses are different sizes. They both have about the same opening, right? For the lens itself. Um, because I would worry that if you step down a larger, well, I guess you would need to put it on the larger one. Yeah, I don't know. It's all confusing. So I just buy what I need for this lens, what I need for that lens, what I need for that lens. But I am seriously considering switching these two cameras so that I can take two M6s with me. There's John. How you doing, bud? Welcome in. You kind of, I've run over, so you know it's always good to see you, bud. Charles says any piece of glass that you put in front of your lens alters the true color of your lens. If you can't afford to use the best filters, you're better off using nothing. I agree with that statement. Your filter needs to be as good as the glass you're putting in front of. Charles says, yes, indeed. Louis Vega did say it right, just that many new photographers don't really understand what a light wave is. That is very possible. Because I have an electronic background, I kind of do get what light wave is. But, and actually, yeah, that's on an oscilloscope. Okay. But in real world usage, from being a fisherwoman, I understand more about polarizing only because of the sunglasses. And you know, now that was 35, 40 years ago. So I'm sure they have changed a lot and come a long way since then. But uh, I will order one and just see how it looks, how it changes things, because I may absolutely love it. If you want to save in filters, buy the largest step down ring for the biggest lens. If example, you have a 77 millimeter thread and a 67, you buy a 77/67 step down ring for the 77. Yes. Um, the I don't think I would like to put like a whole bunch of step down rings on. And like I know one of the lenses is like a 43, I want to say. And I think the biggest one I have is a 67. So that's a lot of stepping down, right? I would just rather have one dedicated for each lens. Then I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. It's all good. Roy says any filter will degrade your image, even if it's almost unnoticeable, but the protection is more important. It's a trade-off, right? And for me, you're 100% right, because I feel like I'm accident prone. If you put me in a kayak, you would know I'm accident prone. But so I don't know. I would be crushed if I broke a lens. I would be even more crushed if I broke a camera. So, I look at some of these cameras on Facebook Marketplace, and they'll have a cracked screen, or they'll have a chip out of it, or, oh, it doesn't affect the performance. Are you kidding me? So my cameras still look as new as the day I bought them. And I use them quite a bit. So I like to take care of my stuff. I don't know. Roy says, keep the rear of the lens clean too. Dust can wear out your shutter, causing early death. Yes. I am very OCD, and I carry, well, as you can see, I just pulled this out of my camera bag. So I always have a lens cover if it's on the camera. And the one that is in the bag has both caps. I don't, and if I have to take both of them off, I have the little plate thing for the camera. I don't like dust, right? And so I 100% agree with that. Jeff says, Sly, when I say light behind the subject, I'm talking about the sunlight, as you would have found out. If at times in harsh light the subject is exposed and background blowout, that's where ND can help. So yes, I did find that out. The number one, the dinosaur video was shot in too much of a hurry. It was too bright. I mean, there were several things wrong with it. Now, if you're not into photography and you're looking at this, you may think, oh, cute dinosaurs. But if you are in photography, it's like, okay, why didn't you use a ND filter? Well, I had one, but it was for a different lens and I didn't have time to change lenses. Um, there was just a lot of, as I'm looking at it, and you should never look at your own work, because as I'm looking at it, I'm critiquing things. And all I can say is I was going at the speed of a 3-year-old. So I didn't have time to do a lot of things right, but it is what it is. Everything's a trade-off, right? Roy says, anyone steals my camera will find me still hanging on to it. That's, Roy, I'm kind of right there with you. I don't want to get so far away. Like, I even get nervous about setting up a camera in my yard because people walk by here all the time. So I have filmed a couple of videos like out in my front yard. And if I would have to run in the house because I forgot something, I got to take the camera with me. So I'm just kind of, it's with me all the time. So yeah. Lewis says, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Stay safe. Love you, Sly. Yes, it must be time for bed. Lewis, thank you so much for staying up and staying with us. I hugely appreciate it. And I love getting to see you and talk to you. And thanks so much for coming in. Roy says, in the studio, I don't need UV protective filters. Right. Yeah. I just, and like I said, neither of these cameras have one. Probably an oversight on my part because it's just pretty much what I do. I don't really think in here you would be able to tell a difference that much. Maybe. Jeff says tripods should be your next investment. You never cheap out on a tripod as it needs to be solid. If we're going to spend 4K on a camera, then the next investment should be a very good quality tripod. So, Jeff, I'm all about light, right? Lightweight, because I'm going to have to pack this thing. And I have found this company called ESDDI, and I absolutely adore their tripods. I'm screaming at you again, and I'm so sorry. I know you all can't hear the air conditioner, but I can. They they're super fast as far as setting them up. They're really stable, right? I I don't know if a gust of wind can knock anything over, right? They do have the hook for the camera bag to give it some weight on the bottom, but and I think I have like 8 of these tripods. I have a lot of them, and I love them. And the reason I have so many of the same one is because I don't have to take the mounting plate off the camera. If I want to switch these 2 cameras, for example, I can just use the same mounting plate off this camera and put it over here. So that's why I say it's a really easy thing to do, and I probably will do that. But yes, I agree. Tripods are another thing that you can spend a lot of money on a tripod. But I think once you find one that works for you, that's pretty much, it, and so you'll probably buy 2 or 3 of them. Roy says, back in film days, film and lenses were more UV sensitive, and UV light could disrupt the exposure sensor. Okay, well that's when I started using them. Was back in the film when I had a film camera. Roy says a scratched lens doesn't affect the image much, but not on my lens. Right? If I had a scratched lens, I would have to replace it. Whether it affected it or not, I would know the scratch was there. So, yeah. Roy says video is much more in need of ND filter than stills. Yeah, and I find that I'm taking some stills, but I'm finding that I take way more video, right? It's just, I like stills, obviously. I don't even know if you can see them. I don't think you can. Ah, yeah. I like having pictures on my wall of my kids and my grandkid, but I enjoy watching the videos more. Not more, equal. Yeah. So I like watching the videos. I like going back. My grandson got a electric car for his second birthday, and I've watched that video so many times it's probably worn out. But I also like looking at the pictures of him when he was like a baby and what have you. So I enjoy both, but I probably do way more video. Roy says 3 p.m. nanny nap time. Naps are the best thing ever. And I wish I could convince a small person of that. But yes, you're right. We have gone way over. I'm beginning to get like Peter. Um, yeah, so much for an hour. Royce says tripods are great for fighting off the tourists. Yep. Tripods seem to be breeding in the corner. They do. They really do. Because now, the reason I have so many is they're not expensive tripods as far as tripods go, but they will run a sale. And every once in a while you can find them half price. And so when I find them half price, I have to buy more. Yeah, I do the same thing with my underwear. Go figure. Jeff says, Sly, please do not think I was talking about your dino video. I was just saying it as I found this out when I started out. The Lee Indy filter glass is 100 by 100. Bought cheap at $300 Australian. Okay. No. When I try not to watch my videos because I critique them. Okay. I'm not really bothered by what other people think. I'm bothered by what I think. And that's why I don't like to watch my videos, because I see everything I did wrong, and I don't know. It just kind of, I usually don't do that, but because he was in them, and I like watching him, so I like to revisit it. So, and I saw a lot of things that were wrong with the dino video. So, no, Jeff, that was 100% on me, bud, because that's, yeah, I normally I edit it, I put it up, and I will never watch it again. If it hadn't been for having my little man in it, that would have been the case with this one. But yeah, so, and the fact that it initially uploaded as 320 or 360 or something like that, it was really bad quality. So yes, and I wouldn't have known that had I not went back to watch it. So no, yeah, that was all on me. But you just you can't go back and look at your old work, right? Because it you can't fix it. So what are you gonna do with it, right? Anyway, thank you guys so much, so much for coming in, saying hey, and hanging out with me. Right? This is we made it through another Friday night and on to the weekend. Hopefully the sky won't come in tomorrow and I can get out and make another video. We'll see. But until next week, guys, I love y'all. Thank you so much. Oh, Roy snuck one in here. I don't use graduated filters anymore. There's always a tree or something on the wrong end of the filter. Well, that's... I am going to order a polarized filter, though, and see if that makes a difference. So, until next week, guys, everybody stay safe. Love you all. And, Jeff, really? It was good. It was very natural and nice to see your little man and Grandma having fun. Who cares if it's not perfect? But I do understand what you're saying. Yes, we had a blast. For his birthday, I'm taking him to Wolf Lodge, Wolf something Lodge. It's like got this indoor water park thing. So, that will be a blast too. But anyway, guys, thank you again so much for coming in. You guys mean the world to me. And I will see everybody next Friday. Good night.